So for this project, we're going to focus on the work by Andy Warhol. This particular piece that he created, he used an image of Marilyn Monroe, and then he ended up editing and changing it to create this final image here. What you guys are going to do is you're going to search Google Drive for the photo that you took, and you're going to convert it to a black and white image, and then you are going to get rid of the grays and have it become a bit more harsh, so it's a strong white and black photo. Then we're going to take that file and place it in Photoshop, and we're going to start to paint it so that it fits one of the 3 color families that you need to work with. So your entire project needs to have some warm color families, some cool color families, and complementary colors, and we'll talk about that later. So these directions here at the top talk to you about how do you get your image off of your Google Drive account to your desktop folder. So please make sure that you are following those directions. And then this area here says turning your color photo to black and white. So it says that we need to open it and name it last name portrait. And then we need to convert it to grayscale. So let me go here. This is what we'll eventually be doing. And I'm going to do file open. And I'm clicking on my original image. And here is the image that I want to work with. It says that I need to change it to grayscale because right now it's black and white. So all I'm doing is going up here to image, adjustments. Image mode, and I'm switching it to grayscale. Yes, I want to discard. You'll see that there's a lot of grays in this image, and I don't want that. So now I'm going to go up to adjustments, and I'm going to click on brightness and contrast. Sometimes this window shows up so it covers up your image. You don't want it to do that. So you can move it to the side so when you start to actually adjust your image, you can see what you're doing. As you can see, I'm getting more whites and blacks. That is what I want. For the project, it says that I did roughly 50 to 100. But as you're adjusting, just really look to make sure that you're getting rid of as much gray as possible and you're doing a strong black to white. So I think that this looks good. So I'm going to press OK. And again, you can see in your history how it's changed. And then it says, this is what I did, but you guys need to make sure that you have a strong white or black, and you need to make sure that you get rid of your grays. So once you've done that, then it says select the crop tool C from the toolbar and change the tool options to square. So when I press C on my keyboard, it automatically selects my crop tool. And then up here, I actually want it to be 1:1 square ratio. And the reason for that is because the project that we're working on, or the file, I guess, that we're pasting into is square. So we need to make sure that our work is square as well. So I'm going to crop this image a little bit better, meaning I don't need a bunch of room above his head. So I ended up getting rid of it so it's to here. You don't want it to be tight to where you're cutting off the image. So you want it to have a little bit of headroom. All right. So I like the way how this looks. I'm going to press enter, and now I have my cropped image. Then I need to go in and get my last name Warhol project. And these directions show you how to download an image to the computer. It's not the Warhol one, but it's the same steps, so you can follow those if you're unsure how to do it. And then once both of those images are open in Photoshop, we need to take this image, and I need to paste it, as you can see here, into this image. So let me turn these off. So this is the image that you will get. Okay, so it says last name Warhol here, and then here I have my cropped image. So it says in Photoshop, go to your black and white file, which you should have named last name portrait, and you're going to select all, copy, and then you're going to make sure that you go to last name Warhol to paste. So here I am. I'm going to do select all, copy, go here, and paste. And as you can see, it's quite huge. So it says after you've pasted it, then you need to transform or change the size so that it fits inside of the grid square. And you're going to repeat this for all 9. The way to keep the aspect ratio perfect, meaning you're not stretching out your image, is by pressing and holding the Shift key. So here I have my image. I'm going to do Control T. Then I do Control 0 to get the bounding box to fit on my screen. Pressing and holding the Shift key, when I do this, you see how the aspect ratio stays the same. If I don't hold the Shift key, I can squish him, and I don't want to do that. So I'm going to hold the Shift key, and I'm going to get it to line up in that first grid square as best I can. It's also a good idea to zoom in and look and see if it's lined up, which it is. Now I'm going to press Enter, Control 0, and then it says here, by selecting the Move tool or pressing and holding the Alt key, you can create a bunch of quick layers. So I have the Move tool selected, and then watch this. I can do Alt click, and I can click and drag each one of these to fit into my grid square. After you have each one in their grid squares, which I've done here, then what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and you're going to name each layer. So the one in the middle needs to be your original black and white, so you're never adjusting or changing this one. And then you need to have 2 complementaries, so I ended up doing them on both sides of my original. You don't have to. And then I placed my 3 warm color families on the top and my 3 cool color families on the bottom. And again, I'm getting this information from here. It says working with your layers. Your finished artwork must contain 3 warm color layers, which I did on the top, 3 cool layers, which I did on the bottom, an original black and white. That one has to be located in the center, so then I sandwich the complementary on the left and right side. Each of these layers needs to be labeled correctly in the Layers menu. So now that we've done that, what we want to do is we want to actually turn each of those layers into a color family. So it says creating your color family layers. Go to Image Adjustments, Color Balance, or Control B to adjust it to match your color family. So when I click on this top one, So I ended up making a black and white for you guys to see. So that's why it says that. So let me click on that one. So it says Warm 3. When I go up here to Image Adjustments, I am going to go to Color Balance, or Control B. And because this is a warm color family, I'm moving this over to the side, and I can actually create the warm color that I want for this one. So maybe I want this one to be a little orange, and then I can press OK. Once you've created all of your color adjustments, so I would do this to each layer, so you're going to do it 9 times. Then you're going to create a new layer, and this is going to allow you to create some details on top of your image. In order to show your photograph underneath, you need to make sure it's multiply. So this is an image that I ended up doing, right? So I have it red, and then I created my color family layer. As you can see, it's multiply, and when I turn it on, let me zoom in, it still shows you all of the details of the photograph underneath. If it was normal, that's what it would look like. So it's really important that you do select multiply. The other thing is, you can see up here where the hair is, I ended up using a soft edge eraser to erase that so that it doesn't have harsh lines and it looks like the hair is fading in. So let me do it on Warm 3. I'm going to come over here. And when I am adding color, I want to make sure I'm on my color family layer. I'm going to do B for brush, and I want to work with a hard brush. And I want, let's see how the orange would look. I feel like that's a little too dark, so I'm going to do Control Z, and I'm going to, and then I can start to paint. Again, you're going to want to zoom in. And you only want to go over the certain facial features. So right now I'm only working with skin. And when I get up to the hair, I'm not going to care about where those bangs fall, because I can go back in with my eraser and I can erase that. And then I'm doing the ear. Again, if I go a little bit outside, that's fine, because I can go in with my eraser and erase it later. Making my brush a little bit bigger because it's a larger area. Again, I'm using those brackets. Here I can do his chin and neck on the same layer. I'm sorry, paint straight through because it's viewed as one shape. And then over here I'll do the ear. And of course I want you guys to work slower and take your time. I'm just doing it quick so that you can see. And I'm not doing the lips because that's going to be a different color. And then up here I can use the eraser, soft edge. I'm going to make it a little bit larger, and then I'm going to go in, and by clicking I can fade the bangs and hair a little bit more. And then I can zoom in, and where there's anything that's harsh, oh, I want to switch back to the hard edge. And then I can clean up these areas where I go outside of. I can clean up that area. All right. Now, an issue that you might come across, Control 0, an issue that you might come across is next class you want to work on something. Well, if I use the, I'm going to zoom in, and if I use the eyedropper tool and I click on this yellow and then I try and do B and paint it again, do you see how it's slightly a different color? The reason why, see how it's a different color? The reason why is because it was on multiply. So in order to get the correct color again, you actually, let me go back up, you actually have to go to normal, then you have to click I for eyedropper, and then that selects the color that you want. Then you can go back to multiply, B for brush. And then you can start to paint and it'll be the same color, okay? So that might be an issue that you guys will run into when you're actually working.